Hello everybody, welcome to Gregsbeerreviews today. Let's take a walk and go see what's in the fridge today. Hey guys, thanks for stopping by Gregsbeerreviews today. Today we're going to wrap up the pumpkin beers. This is the last one that I have in the fridge. This was sent to me by Nate. This is Avery's PumpKYn, P-U-M-P-K-Y-N. And this is a porter. And I'm just going to read what's on the bottle here. It says, porter brewed with pumpkin and spices aged in bourbon barrels. Bottled September 12, 2014. Alcohol by volume is 17.22%. This is a monster beer. I mean, this is just like the one we did yesterday. These are big, bold, sipping beers, not to be chugged. Prime candidate to be cellared. And like I tell you guys, when you guys send me these beers, I feel kind of obligated to do it. I would love to cellar this beer for several years and see how it does. So, and some of the Avery beers are available here, and this one may be one of them that is available here, but I haven't seen it. Not saying that it's not there. You almost have to go to a craft beer store instead of a place like Kroger's or someplace like that to get a beer like this. Kroger's just not going to carry this beer. Way too much alcohol for those guys to carry. According to what I have here on Rate Beer, they made two different versions of this in 2014. One of them was a 6.5%, and the other one was a 17.22%, which this one is. I don't have an IBU listed on either site for this beer. Commercial notes here says bourbon barrel aged pumpkin porter spiced with nutmeg, cinnamon, allspice, and cloves, and aged in fresh bourbon barrels for 6 months. And that is the only other description I have. So let's get on to the food pairings. And since it's not a recognized style in the beer judging guidelines, it says meat is poultry and dessert. Glassware, the pint, Becker 9-egg tumbler. I'm going to use a dual glass for this, guys, since it is a monster porter. And here it says not recommended for extended selling unless ABV extends average range. Well, would you think that 17.22% exceeds the average range? This is like almost 4 beers in one. So big, bold, probably going to be a little boozy. I was pleasantly surprised with the other one from Avery that it wasn't as boozy as I was anticipating. So very well made beers. Those guys there definitely know how to make a monster beer and do it well. So I don't think there's anything else we need to talk about. So let me deal with this full cap here that I do not like. Let me see if I can get it off without peeling this off into 100 little pieces. And while I do that, the beer openers did come in, guys. I've got a new color there. There's gray, yellow, black, green, and dark blue. So if you're needing one, give me a shout and we'll get it out to you. I'm still waiting on the new t-shirts to come in. Those guys are a little slower on producing the shirts. They're a little backed up with all the rest of the shirts that they do. But I do have some smalls and mediums and 2X's left. But I do not have any larges or extra larges right now. So if you need a 2X, medium, or small, let me know. I can get it out to you. Let's get this in the glass, guys. We're going to go down the center. that up there where y'all can see it. Over into the light. I'm not getting a lot of light. There may be a hint of some light around the outside edges, but I'm not seeing much at all. It's pretty dark. Pretty dark. Looks very good in the glass. Got about a half a finger of head on that aggressive pour down the center. Let's get a nose on it. Yeah, there's some alcohol right up there. I mean, this is a big beer, 17.22. There's a little bit of chocolate. I am getting the spices, the nutmeg, the cinnamon, the ginger, the allspice. May even be a hint of some dark fruit in there. And when the beers get this big, I get that graham cracker crust type deal going on here. I don't know if it's just the alcohol and the spices or what. But there is some booziness to it. I will not lie to you. It's right out of the fridge at 40 degrees. So let's give it a taste. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Nate. Thank you, sir. Definitely some heat with this one. This one has a slight bigger booziness than the one we did yesterday. It was a little bit more alcohol. I think the other one was like 16%, I think, and this one's 17.22, almost 17 and a quarter anyway. Yeah, definitely a little more boozier than the one we did yesterday, in my opinion. A little bit of heat there. Nice pumpkin pie spices. You just got to realize you're drinking a 17.22% beer and not a 5, 6, or 7%er. Definitely a sipper here, guys. Still very tasty though. Very, very tasty. Glad I'm drinking this one at home and not trying to drive or go somewhere in a vehicle after drinking a beer this big. So let's right out of the fridge. Like I said, it's around 40 degrees. Let's let it warm up. See what we end up with on this one, guys. Pretty impressive beer. I mean, they do a good job there brewing a beer of this magnitude and not having it just set your throat on fire when you drink it. So very tasty. Let's see where it ends up. I'll be right back. Hi guys, I'm back. Got a little left. Been sipping on it about 30 minutes now. This is a very tasty beer, but it is a big, boozy beer. A prime candidate, in my opinion, for cellaring. This would probably be a great beer to put in the fridge for 5 or maybe even 10 years, and to see how it changes and how the flavors come together. And I don't know what would fade, or whether some of the pumpkin pie spices would fade over time or not on something like this, but this is definitely a sipper. I will say that. This is a monster beer at 17.22%. Very tasty. The other half loved it, but she's kind of a sucker for these big bourbon barrel beers, and I am too. I do like them. This is the final beer of the evening, and this wraps up the pumpkin beers probably for this year. I don't have any more in the fridge, and not aware of anybody that's going to be sending me any other pumpkin beers this year, and probably not going to be purchasing any more pumpkin beers for this year. But this is very tasty. I mean, Avery does a good job of putting together these big ABV beers. So it's very tasty. So let's do the final chug on this one. Very tasty. The bourbon is there. The pumpkin pie spices are there. There is some heat to this beer, being this big. I won't lie to you. A little on the boozy side. That's why I'm thinking it would cellar pretty well. Maybe some of that booziness will fade away over about 5 years. And it's still good though. I mean, it's definitely a good beer to drink fresh. You just got to be aware that you're drinking a beer of this magnitude. It's pretty big. 17.2%. It is a monster beer, a nice sipper. if you want to sip on something like this over the course of the evening. This is not a chugger. This is not something you'd want to down in 10 or 15 minutes. Unless you're just in a hurry to get your buzz on. That's the only reason I would say that. But these kind of beers at 17.22% and being aged in a bourbon barrel for 6 months, these beers are not cheap. They're fairly on the pricey side. So a lot of times you'll just buy one, maybe even two of these beers. You won't buy, and I don't know if this comes in a 4-pack or how it's actually packaged. I've not seen it in the normal, like I said, you won't find this in a Kroger store around here. You would have to actually go to a craft beer store to find something like this. But it's pretty damn tasty, guys. It's definitely worth picking up if you're into the monster-sized beers of this magnitude with the pumpkin pie spices and stuff in it. So very tasty as far as I'm concerned. It's got the date on the bottle. Got the ABV on the bottle. I mean, it's as long as you're aware of what you're drinking and be prepared for that much alcohol in a single beer, you'll be okay. So, with that being said, guys, as far as I'm concerned, it is definitely a 9 beer. The only thing that keeps me from giving it to 10 is the booziness of it, and then again, you got to take into effect how big a beer this is. I keep saying that it's a 17.22%. So as long as you're aware of that, I mean, there's probably some people who say, "Oh man, this is a 10 beer," and there's other people who say, "I couldn't stand it. I mean, I'll never buy another one." You just got to realize what you're buying and what you're drinking and how big a beer it is that you're drinking. So with that being said, I'm going to give it the 9 just because of the slight booziness. I thought the one we did yesterday was a little easier drinking at 16% than this one is at 17%, but it is what it is. So with that being said, let's go see what everybody else thinks. We'll go over to Beer Advocate first, and they say 91 in the outstanding range. It is an outstanding beer. And over to Rate Beer. Rate Beer says overall 98 and 100 in the style. If I was putting a numeric rating on this, and it would probably be somewhere in the 97 or 98, maybe even a 99 in the numeric rating. So right there at the 10 beer. It'd be very easy for me to say, yeah guys, this is a 10 beer, if it wasn't for the booziness of it. And then again, I keep saying this, it's a 17.22% beer. You got to realize that. It's not a 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12%er. This is a 17.22% beer. Monster beer. So as long as you're aware of that and you're able to handle that, it'll probably be a pretty good beer for you. So if you've had this one from Avery, they're PumpKYn, PumpKYN. It's a porter that's aged in bourbon barrels. Let me know what you think, guys, and let's get on with the beer reviews tomorrow. I think that's all the pumpkin beers we're going to do, and maybe we'll get something in there that won't be quite as boozy tomorrow. Maybe we'll get us an A. Come on back tomorrow and join me. We'll go take a look in the fridge and see what's in there together. See you then.